We got Dana White, he's the king of the fight. He's got a thick neck and a bald head. He can buy your life or punch you in the face instead. And then I think the chorus might be, he's a really nice guy, but every other word is God, look at that, huh? In Dana White's office, ladies and gentlemen.
Special edition, Firing the Kid. Here with Dana White, the Kid, Brian Callen.
That's right, and Big Brown. I'm very excited. The first thing I want to say is, and I've said this many times on Rogan's podcast, and the thing I love about you is you're so accessible. You're this guy who, you're
Brace yourself. This dude has a huge crush on you.
Well,
he's not going to shut the hell up with that.
But I mean, let's start with this.
Well, I'm a fan too. I watch World's Dumbest. I'm such a fan of World's Dumbest. I actually follow World's Dumbest on Twitter.
I can't believe that. That's amazing. Like, I know the guy who owns the whole show, so I'm going to tell him that. But you are a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve. What cracks me up about you is I'll hear you. You're running this huge empire, and you're like, he's never fighting in the UFC again. And then you give people a second, a third, and a fourth chance. When John Fitch had to be released because he wasn't winning, they said, well, what if he works his way back into, and you're like, when has that not happened? When have I not given somebody another chance?
No, it's true. That's the way it works. And, the whole John Fitch thing was blown way out of proportion. It's never, in this business, it's never fun when you call a guy and say, hey, we're cutting you and you got to go out and, Yushin Okami is a guy who I called the best guy to ever come out of Japan. And we had to cut him.
It has a crazy success rate, too, in the UFC.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're having to manage not only fights, but entertainment.
Talent. We have, there's new guys coming through the pipeline, guys working their way up. And if you look at a guy like Yushin Okami and how many shots he's had and how long he's been around, and, you got to make those tough decisions. They're never fun.
Right.
But it's not to say that John Fitch, Yushin Okami, or anybody else who has been cut from the UFC couldn't work their way back. This isn't the NFL.
Yeah.
When you get cut from the NFL,
done.
You're
That's
done.
it. Done.
You're done.
But you've never made any bones about that. You've always kind of taken responsibility. I mean, I've heard you many times say, if you got any problems with where the decisions are coming from, and you got a problem with it, it's here. It's right here.
But how much of it is you? Because you have like Joe Silva who works for you.
Yeah.
You got all these guys, right?
A lot
of
it's
you're
me.
busy. You're traveling.
A lot
of it's you.
A lot of people like to put off and say, well, maybe he doesn't make. I make most of those decisions. I'm not going to say there's not a time that Lorenzo doesn't come in and say,
For sure.
But that's not what really Lorenzo's focused on. It's not. Lorenzo's.
I feel like Lorenzo's focus is football right now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Football.
His focus is definitely football, but he's very focused on global, on us. Working on these other countries, Brazil and China and all these other countries.
I don't think this was on purpose, but I was talking about how feminists 20 years from now, or when they study the feminist movement, they're gonna mention your name because for the first time we're seeing women fight in the UFC, and you got guys like me. I never thought I'd say this. Guys like me cheering for those women.
Care.
Dude, I'm cheering for them as loudly as I cheer for guys. Mm-hmm. And who saw that coming? You probably didn't. You said women would never fight, and here we are.
I didn't see it, and. The thing that's really cool about it is, just like you said, there's a lot of other women's sports that a lot of people don't care about, a lot of people don't support, and a lot of people don't follow. On The Ultimate Fighter right now that's airing, the women are outrating the men. When the women fight, the ratings are up 44%.
How about that?
This is my thing. This is my thing with women fighting. When they fight, there hasn't been a born fight yet.
Right.
You see women because they're scrapping for basically to show that they earn the right to be here. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they have all this pressure on them.
They're probably aware that there's history being made here. I mean,
they
don't want to let anyone down.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I never in a million years would have thought that it would take off the way that it has.
That leads me to my question. You started this thing.
Well, I'll even give you guys something that nobody knows yet. We're actually working on bringing in another division right now for women, which I said wouldn't happen for a long time.
125 or 145?
Neither.
15.
115.
That's going to be mean.
Dang.
I'll be calling Sean.
Dang.
115 is about my style, too. I'm a little light in the ass for these girls right now. 115 is right in my wheelhouse.
Right in my wheelhouse. Dang, that's crazy. That's cool.
Well, I'm watching some of these. I'm watching The Ultimate Fighter, and I'm very impressed with the technique. I'm impressed with just how scrappy they are. I mean, it's. I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah,
They tried it in
I
women's boxing.
definitely thought I'd never say it. I saw a fight one time up in Northern California back in the day when we first bought this thing, and it was one of the worst mismatches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to take the guys in a mismatch, let alone women.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
awful.
The girl that was
It's hard to watch, man.
The girl that was getting her ass whooped was an attractive girl, and you don't want to see that.
So you got kids. Would you let them do football or be in the UFC?
So
Would you push them that direction?
I don't push anything.
Well, I wasn't saying push, but it's
No.
like, Dad, we want to.
Yeah, my kids play football. My kids are hardcore lunatic football players. I could give
In
a
Vegas.
shit about football.
In Vegas or
In Vegas.
or California?
Yeah. In Vegas. They play here, yeah. And we've won the Super Bowl every year. I mean, my kids started in flag, then they went to tackle, and we've won the Super Bowl every year except one, and now we just got bounced. We just lost in the playoffs.
How old are they?
11 and 12. My son is
So they're-
my oldest
yeah,
son
I
is the quarterback, and the younger one plays defense. And football, I don't make my kids do anything, but my kids have to. They do jiu-jitsu, they wrestle, and they
Gotta be
do
active.
Muay Thai.
Yeah.
My kids are, my kids surf, skateboard, snowboard, play football.
But hold up. When I see like your kids surfing, that you have like Kelly Slater helping them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you're Dana White, when you're Dana White,
Football, they have like
you can
they have, like,
hire that
Michael
guy
Vick
as a
to teach them
tutor.
to throw.
No, football. we have the coach, one of the guys who coached at OU, and Gorman coached the kids.
Bro, so of course you guys win every year because you got freaking Stoops as your head coach.
Hey,
I-
whatever, dude. Whatever.
I have.
And then I bet they have sick unis, and then they're playing the kids from the poor. They're winning like 60 to nothing.
Dana will
Hey.
buy the other team
One thing
and
you
cancel
know is
them out.
football.
Yeah.
Football. Kids who come from that are poor are some of the nastiest football players
The
out
best,
there.
man.
They-
The best.
Don't worry about the uniforms. They're
I don't-
fast. They hit
yeah.
hard. They're
Athletes, man, and they want it, and they work hard. I went to a game in Santa Monica. A friend asked me to go to a game in Santa Monica. All white kids, all rich white kids. And they asked me what I thought. I didn't want to tell them the truth, but they don't have a chance, man. They don't have a chance.
Lacking
Because they're all
fast
baby. They're baby.
yeah.
It's different, man.
How did you grow up? You've got this tough, Boston thing. Yet you're a guy who came from Boston. You took a huge chance on this. I remember. I think I was watching. I think I went to UFC when Couture beat Vitor in Louisiana or Baton Rouge. I was with Joe Rogan, and you kind of took this thing when it was basically almost an illegal sport, and somehow Dana White comes along and goes, "I'm going to buy this thing. I'm going to get people to invest."
So you obviously didn't see the special on Fox.
Well, I want to get it from
The
his.
20.
I want to get it his. From
He
his
said it on the show
perspective.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
So
interrupt.
I was.
Face.
My family moved here when I was in third grade. From Boston to Vegas,
Right.
and I went to school here. Lorenzo and I ended up going to school together when we were in high school. Then when we graduated, I moved back to Boston, and I was there for almost 10 years. Came back to Vegas, and I was involved in boxing. I've done everything. I've done things in boxing. I was a referee. I was a referee in boxing. I smashed the refs all the time.
Yeah.
I was a referee too. I used to referee.
Wow. See,
I've done
what
everything.
you didn't know, my friend. So calm
I
down.
didn't know any of this.
And I came back to Las Vegas. I went to a mutual friend's wedding, and me and Lorenzo bumped into each other again. So we started hanging out, and we always knew we wanted to do something. We wanted to be in the fight business together. One night, his brother and I were at the Hard Rock, and we bumped into a guy named John Lewis, who had fought in the UFC and had the first jiu-jitsu school here in Las Vegas. And Frank said, "I've always wanted to take lessons in ground fighting." And I said, "Me too." We started talking to him. We set up an appointment for Monday. So we told Lorenzo, Frank, and Lorenzo came in and did jiu-jitsu on Monday and became addicted.
That was it.
That was it. We fell in love with it. Completely addicted, started doing it 3-4 times a week, trying to rip each other's arms and legs off, and and it,
Go light, guys. Don't you like when
yeah,
they're
no,
like,
we
guys,
were
just
crazy.
light today. Next thing you know,
Still
you're
to this day, when I walk, my left ankle clicks every day.
Someone put you in an ankle lock?
Yeah, Frank the gorilla Fertitta, tried to rip my fucking ankle off with
Paul
the elbow.
Ahari style.
Yeah, exactly.
Paul Ahari
That's
style.
why I went. That's
exactly
That's
what it
why I went fucking mental on Paul
You
Ahari.
felt it in your own ankle, that son of a bitch.
It happened to me. Yeah, it happened to me, and I was tapping, and the fucker wouldn't stop when I was tapping.
So do
Exactly.
you guys still roll to this day?
No, None of
running
us
an
roll
empire,
now.
bro.
None of us roll now.
There's always time for
we roll
jiu-jitsu.
from Abu Dhabi to Brazil to you know, it's a whole nother world.
But so
now.
your love for fighting is really what got you into this. But you know, there had to be some entrepreneurial. You know, you're obviously an unconventional thinker. But did you ever think that you'd be an entrepreneur? Was this always your dream to kind of create your own?
Well, I always was. I've been working for myself since I was 19 years
Okay.
old. So I was never really good at working for other people.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
Right.
So I always did my own thing. I always made money, and you know, I always knew that I was going to be involved in a fight game one way or another. You know, but never really worked.
Well,
for
what
anybody.
about you know? Remember when they were calling it cockfighting when you got into this? I mean, you know, it was basically illegal. I mean, you know, it was a very unpopular sport for the most part. You bet on the fact that it was going to be a growing sport. You just knew that because you liked it so much.
I did. I thought that as I started to get into the sport and started to meet some of the guys, I mean, when you meet some of these athletes, they're not your typical, you know, they're not your typical fighters. And I think it's one of the things that boxing, you know, I hate to throw a blanket over the entire sport, but, you know, all the guys are pretty much the same. They came from the mean streets of somewhere, and if it wasn't for boxing, they'd be dead or in jail. That's
right.
all their stories, you know?
Right.
There's some guys there's a few out there that isn't the story, but it's pretty much the
I can
story.
think of one, Andre Ward.
We talk about this. People will come on the podcast, fire and stuff, and then they'll say, Brendan, did you grow up, or people ask all the time when we're out, Brendan, did you grow up real rough, blah, blah. No, my dad loved the shit out of me, man. I grew up playing sports.
My
I just like to
parents loved the
compete,
shit out of
man.
me.
Yeah,
And-
I just
and-
love the jiu-jitsu.
You know-
The UFC was in my hometown. I fell in love with it, man.
As you meet these guys, you know, they're very educated. They come from good families. They're great athletes who have been involved in martial arts or something else. And, you know, that was the thing. That was the real thing. You know, obviously I love the mixed martial arts, but as you meet the fighters, that's what I really started to look at and say, this is what could really make this thing big. The fights are exciting, the sport is exciting, and the athletes are actually really good people that are easy to sell.
Yeah. But, you know, this sport you've got such responsibility. I always think about, because I know you love fighters, the hard part of your job must be, we already touched on a little bit, you're probably responsible for, let's say, 200 fighters on your roster. All of them have to have
More.
fights who are all under contract.
Yeah.
The reality is there's just a limited space. You know, there's a cage. You can have maybe 8 fights or whatever it might be. And at the end of the day, some people have to get cut. Some people don't get to fight. How do you deal with that?
And there's a lot more than just dealing with that. Even
Does it
though,
keep you up? Has ever cutting a guy kept you up at night? Have you ever been like, damn?
Oh, there's definitely not only cutting guys, but having the conversation of retiring to guys too. You know,
I didn't think of that.
yeah.
We talked to Chael about that yesterday. About he's been competing since he was 9. We were like, "What are you going to do afterwards? How do you supplement that juice?" And he said, "I have no idea."
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You look at this sport, and this sport is basically no different than a stint in the NFL or Major League Baseball or whatever. You need to make as much money as you can possibly make and become as famous as you can possibly be. And what's even more important is all these things that you accomplish, you want as many people to see it as possible so that you can have a career. And one of the cool things that's happening in this sport, and based on how these athletes are, how many boxers have their own fucking podcast? I don't think any do.
Right.
How many analysts? If you look at what the television moves we're making and the things that are happening, these guys are becoming analysts now on Fox.
Yeah.
And some of them are so good that they're actually going over into college football and doing other things. Brian Stan is now covering college football for
And
Fox.
damn good. Might be the best one on there. I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever heard him speak.
I have many
Yeah.
times.
So now,
Jack Armstrong, All-American too.
because of the Fox deal, now ESPN is starting to hire fighters as analysts now too, because ESPN isn't going to let Fox just have this thing to themselves. They're gonna cover.
You guys
it too,
have
so-
modeled yourselves after the NFL. By the way, you couldn't be less like the commissioner or the people that speak.
Well, we've modeled ourselves after every sporting event that's been successful. If there's something that we see that we like, that we think they've done right,
But you've personally, you've gone away, like, you're not like Don King or freaking Vince McMahon, you know what I'm saying? There's no way. Like, those guys, people hate those guys.
right?
People love
people
you.
hate me too.
Not
Hate me
really.
too.
Not
but you
really.
make yourself
people
so
hate
accessible.
Roger Goodell.
When you're the boss, you're never going to be the most popular
Never.
fucking guy.
Well, if you're the
It's never
president of
gonna
anything,
happen.
you,
Yeah.
you make a decision. 50% of the people are happy. 50% of the people hate your guts. It's going to be.
Exactly.
It's always going to be the case, right?
It's true, yeah, and you can't make everybody happy. You do the best you can do. You run your business as fair as you can. You treat people as fairly as you can. And if you do these things, everything usually works out.
Yeah.
So like today, you woke up. It's the 20th anniversary week. What, like, do you just start off with interviews all day? What are you doing? Like a typical day. What would you say you do?
I did today. We did. I got up this morning. I did PR
Early.
Yep, for the fight. Then Lorenzo and I were in meetings over. We're working on guys contracts coming up. Contracts.
You're always dealing with that nitty-gritty stuff.
Always, it's a never-ending.
What about the lawyers? I mean,
cycle.
You're involved in that?
No, we do it. Lorenzo and I. So Lorenzo and I do. There's contracts that we handle, and there's contracts that Joe Silva handles. When a guy gets to a certain level, then we start handling his contract.
And you guys pick the fights with Joe a lot of times?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. And, we get all the details done, and then they go to the lawyers. Then the lawyers button it up and
how do you unwind?
Finish the deal.
The fight?
I like the fights, man, believe it or not.
Yeah.
The night, all the stuff that happens, all the things that lead up to this Saturday. When the fights start, I always sit in my room in the back.
You watch all of them?
I watch all the prelims on TV. And then when we go, when the main card starts, I go out and watch the fights live.
Well, I said we were talking. You're in shape, my friend. You look good.
Thank you.
You're built like a fighter. Let's be honest. Take your shirt off immediately.
Get your shirt off. I'm telling you, man, you gotta watch this guy.
You look down. I'm not wearing pants. Like, this is so weird. This is very inappropriate. But you make sure you work out. I mean, you did some boxing.
I try to. Yeah, I try to. Whenever we have a rule, whenever we land somewhere, we go straight to the gym.
Yeah.
Like our guys, when we plan our trip, we have guys who go in ahead of us and get everything set up. And the first thing they have to do is find the best gym, the closest and best gym.
So you fly so much. When's the last time? I don't even know if you could. When's the last time you flew commercial? Like, when's the last time someone I saw Dana White in Southwest.
2006.
Southwest, Dana White.
2006.
That's one of the
Steve
first.
Boarding pass, Doug.
They asked Warren Buffett, like, what he's been living in the same house. He said, I travel differently. I have my own plane. Why deal with commercial airlines?
You can't do it.
2006.
You can't.
You travel too much.
You can't do it. You can't grow the business and do the things that you have to do if you had to fly commercial.
What's the shadiest place? Because you guys are
back when I flew commercial. Right? When I was flying commercial, we were doing like 5 fights a year.
Yeah.
We were doing 5 fights a year. So you could never. It's impossible.
So but you guys are going all over. China, Brazil. What's the shadiest place you and Lorenzo went to? Where you guys were like, damn, we need to get out of here. Have you ever flown in somewhere where it's just shady as heck? Where you guys are worried?
We have security.
You have security all the time?
Yeah.
All the time.
We have security. Yeah.
So it's never an issue.
Yeah. I mean, when we go to Brazil, we have like a fucking motorcade.
Yeah,
you got it, right? You get kidnapped. Let's kidnap the guys. It'd be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, it's different. It's not even like
not even
that.
an issue for you at all.
No.
Huh. What about when you go out? And you guys are like, God, stay white. I'm freaking Paul Hari's best friend. I'm gonna try.
So I don't have security when I go out.
No,
when I do my thing.
Like if you go out in LA, zero issues ever.
Never ever.
Well, everybody wants to take a picture with you.
Everybody's cool. Everybody. Yeah. The thing that I run into, and it's funny because when you were said everybody likes you, and I was like, everybody doesn't like me. The funny thing is
when they see you in person,
if you look at the that you see on the internet,
you can't look at that stuff.
13 years I've been out in public, going here, going there, have never had one incident ever, not one incident. Nobody's ever.
You also, they also know that you'd probably throw down. Like it's not like you're made of glass. Like that's the other thing. You're so volatile, and you can see that. I can just see like somebody just gets out of hand. I heard that you actually answer some of your tweets back. You're like, what'd you say?
Negative, yeah. So the negative guys, you tweet the negative ones.
Yeah,
you're a born scrapper.
No, I just don't think that. I think that there's this thing where people think, because they're online or because they're on social media, that they can say whatever they want to somebody.
Man. Yeah, you do.
And you can't, And people always ask me, why do you waste your time with that? Why would you even, that's so petty and you should be above that. Because it's fun, that's why. Because it's fun.
How about that?
That's
How about
why.
that?
How many people in his position talk that way?
None of
fun.
them, man.
But there was so
if
many
you
people-
tweet Roger Goodell, he thinks he's going to tweet you
No,
back.
because what happens is, here's what I want to ask. Here, what happens is, you get to a point where everybody's watching every move you make.
Yeah.
You get to a point, you got a lot to lose. You have a lot of money. You could just stop all this. You haven't lost your edge at all. You're just as prickly. You're ready to go. You show up. You're still in shape.
He hasn't
show
gone
up in a
Hollywood.
T-shirt
He doesn't
at
have-
all.
he hasn't gone Hollywood
I see
at
you
all.
I see you walking around the floor taking pictures with anybody who wants, tweeting back angrily. It's beautiful. How do you keep your edge? Most people soften up. They kind of lose sight of the focus. I'm interested in, because a lot of people want to know that. I mean, a lot of people always ask them, what's the formula for success? Are you a very goal-oriented person? Do you have a plan for this UFC 20 years from now?
Yeah. I am
talk
very
about that.
goal-oriented, and I'm one of these people that when you set your goals, and then every day when you wake up, you go out, and every second of your day is geared toward getting that done.
What are you after? What do you think you're really after?
The biggest sport in the world.
That's what it is.
That's it.
The biggest sport in the world.
Biggest sport in the world.
Which is a big challenge, by the way, because you have so many fights now. Do you ever worry that it's going to start getting, that's the challenge?
What fuels me is all the people that say
Exactly.
you're crazy. You'll never beat soccer. You'll never beat this.
They've been saying that to you from day one.
Day one. And day one, it was, you'll never get back on pay-per-view. You'll never get on free TV. You'll never get sanctioned in all these states. This will never work in other countries. That's the that fires me up, and that's the that gets me. And that's what I like to do. I like to, when people say you can't, I love to do it, and
It fuels you.
it does.
Because now you have women, and it seems like women are going to add a whole new chapter.
You
to
should have
this.
saw when I signed Ronda Rousey, the backlash
Really?
that
People
we
were
got
furious.
on this thing was, this is disgusting. I would never buy the event. And then people that were pissed that I headlined her over Dan Henderson and Lyoto Machida.
Dana White, the feminist, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And I did that. They're Ronda's the champion. The champion headlines the show. Incredibly successful event. Huge. The biggest women's fight of all time.
I couldn't wait to watch it.
The biggest women's fight of all time.
Because what you're watching is a human being. She's an extreme winner. You talk about a bulldog, pretty bulldog.
Bulldog.
Pretty bulldog.
The day I met her, the day I met this woman, I sat down and I was like, this is the one that can do it. She's the fucking one that
You
can
just
do
felt
this.
it from her intensity?
The minute I met her, we went in the back, we sat down, we talked, and I'm like, this is the one.
She's a
That's a
monster.
huge part of being successful when you run a company, by the way. Am I wrong? Being able to read people very quickly. The majority of people I know who made a lot of money who are very successful are very good at doing that.
I think you have to have a bullshit meter. Because how many bullshitters do you
I
meet?
get tons of bullshit. Yeah. I get tons of bullshit.
Probably
all
more
the time.
bullshit than anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
not anymore as much as
anymore.
the old days because I don't take those meetings.
Well, I was going to say, you have a
Used to
whole
take
team
all
just
the
going to
meetings,
filter
and
through,
now I
right?
don't take them anymore. Yeah.
That makes sense.
When you get to a level, there's a lot of that you don't have to deal with anymore. You know?
Yeah. You've earned it.
I pick and choose what I want to deal with.
I mean, so you guys have the American market freaking cornered, right? Like it's going well, but there's a thorn because New York, they're still not giving in, right? New York's really the only ones not jumping on board.
New York issue is
And you've addressed this a ton, I know.
a completely different issue. It's
It's the union, correct?
yeah, it's corruption is what it is. It's corruption, and the guy who is behind the whole thing, has more things going on and coming out now, and hopefully this guy's going to go away soon, and so will this issue.
I have a feeling that's going to happen.
Probably gonna happen.
Kind of just, yeah.
Well, he's a powerful guy in New York. He's the most powerful politician in all of New York.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Schumer? Sorry.
Don't be trying to drop names.
Yeah,
here.
never mind. Sorry.
Don't be trying to.
Being
So let's say you're in peak physical shape. You can fight one guy.
In Hollywood.
Politician, actor.
you wanna punch in the face?
UFC fighter. Who you got? Maybe some bully in Boston threw you down to the ground.
Kick sand in my
Yeah, kicks in your face.
Yeah.
Said beat it.
Yeah,
nerd."
poor Dana. Yeah.
Yeah.
The poor nerd that he was. Yeah.
I honestly don't.
There's not one guy.
I got to this point. My last hurrah was the Tito thing. When me and Tito were going to do that boxing match, that was like.
You were dead serious about that. I thought it was a gimmick. You were dead serious.
First of all, Tito just did an interview up in Canada where he was saying, Dana wants to fight the fighter to be famous. And first of all,
What?
you fucking clown, you put it in the contract to fight me. I didn't ask to fight Tito. That was part of his stipulation when he came back, that he wanted to box me. And then Tito ended up bailing and pulling out of the thing after I trained for the thing.
You were training legitimate training camp?
Bro, I brought
Did you have Floyd Mayweather hold mitts for you and shit?
No, I brought in heavyweight, like real heavyweight guys to spar with. It was like,
wow.
I would be
So wait a minute. So
I was 37 years old, okay? So I'd be sitting here in my fucking office, right? And these 23 and 24-year-old pro fighters are showing up. Did you ever see that fucking movie, 3 O'Clock High? Where the kid's going to get his ass kicked after school, and he's doing everything he can to get out of this thing. You know what I mean?
Whatever you can do.
Yeah. So these guys would show up every day to train with me, and I was like, "Oh my god, those guys are going to be here in a fucking hour."
Dreading it.
Oh my god, those guys are going to be here in 45 minutes. Oh my god, those guys are going to be here in 15 minutes, and I'd go down and spar with these guys every day, getting ready for this fight. And one of the kids that I was sparring with at that time is ranked number 6 in the world right now, heavyweight. And,
did you give him the business?
6 or 8. No, I mean, I went down there and went at it with these guys every day, getting ready for this fight.
How long had you been boxing?
And that
backed out. Of the fight. So you were disappointed when he backed out.
Yeah, I was really upset.
He's still calling him.
I showed up and weighed in. I showed up at the weigh-in.
What was the weigh-in?
He bailed.
What did you have to weigh?
I had to weigh. I weighed under 200 for that fight. I weighed like 198 or something like that. But Tito was going to weigh 205.
Dang, I thought
Tito had to weigh 205.
Tito walks around at 225.
Exactly. So
That's
he had to weigh
big
205 for the fight.
You must have been very kind of worried.
It wasn't a gimmick. I had to get licensed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. It was a big f***ing deal.
Huge deal. He just backed out.
But you putting yourself on the line there, you could have gotten knocked out in front of everybody. You were willing to go all the way.
Yeah. Let me put it to you this way.
Come on, man. You got to love that.
Tito and I have boxed before.
Oh,
it wouldn't have been the first time Tito and I boxed.
Oh.
And
how's it usually go?
Not good for Tito.
What? Get out of here.
Tito didn't.
Not good for Tito. Don't kid yourself.
Tito didn't ask me to fight him in an MMA fight.
No.
Tito would kill me.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
he'd murder me.
I mean, it's an MMA fight.
Tito would murder me in an
boxing,
MMA fight.
you're comfortable.
Tito asked to box me. He didn't ask to fight me in MMA. Tito would literally pull my head off and rip my spine out in an MMA fight.
Yeah.
But boxing
He
is
asked
a
to
different
box
story.
me. Yeah. He asked to box me. And me and Tito, it wouldn't have been the first time we boxed.
How long have you boxed for?
I've been boxing since I was a kid.
Oh.
Were you scrapping on the streets of Boston? You were a feisty kid?
Well, I grew up...
You don't seem like an angry dude.
I grew up
Yes,
here.
he does, and yes, he's a fighter.
I grew up here. You know, it's not like I was... You know,
You're not a Southie.
I came from the... Yeah, I lived in Southie when I moved back there. You know, and it was a tough neighborhood and stuff, but I grew up in Vegas. And
Vegas isn't
there were fights in
freaking...
Vegas.
Yeah,
Yes, there
Vegas
were
isn't
fights in Vegas.
Pleasantville. Yeah.
There were fights in Vegas.
But it's not about that anyway. I mean, the boxing that long, it becomes,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
that's your sport.
that's what I did. Yeah, that was what I did.
Confident
that was
enough
what
to
I
take
was good
a
at.
pro bout with Tito Ortiz.
That's no joke. And I had heard and read about it, and I thought it was more hype. And now
More
I
people
hear,
think it is. More people think that it was fake.
I thought it
and
was
that
fake. I'll tell you what would be great.
There was nothing fake about it.
Why don't we arrange a fight between you two and you guys cut down to weight and fight? Because all he does is talk about.
I'm not fighting Dana White.
You're scared
It's
now.
impossible.
Scared.
He'll have me disappeared.
I'm 44.
How old do you think he is?
I fight to get on the treadmill every day. You know what I mean?
I'm
It's
46,
like-
brother. I'm the same
He's
way.
46,
It
though.
kills me. It's just like I send him pictures of my torso though.
Yeah, it does. Super weird, man. I'm around
He
girls.
beat me up
and
in the hallway of Loveline. Just beat me up. We started wrestling and
choked him out in front of Loveline.
I had a cashmere sweater on and everything.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
That's what you get,
You're
man.
a bully, is what you are.
a little bit.
What? So do you still box? You don't have time.
I do. I mean, I box today.
You did.
I mean, I don't spar, but I still hit the mitts. I run. I work out.
I love the photography. In
Thanks.
These were all obviously you picked them out.
So right now we're in. Let's tell the people.
Can we tell them what's in here?
We're in the main. This is your office.
my office.
This is like your chill office.
This is my
This is the office.
This is my office.
This is where it goes down.
There's a Yakuza guy taking a beautiful woman. I don't know if I'm that flexible.
His ass cheeks are
I don't
tatted
know if
out.
my hips are that flexible. but
That is called Yakuza. That's a real Yakuza guy and his girlfriend.
Pretty legit.
really?
On a concrete floor, doing work.
And the photographer is Iraqi. The guy's name is Iraqi. There's a story behind this picture. So me and the Fertitas have this lunatic friend. His name is Richie Sachs. And Richie Sachs was a big Wall Street guy in the 80s and early 90s. He retired. And now he just travels the world and parties and, you know, is into art and all these other things. So he called me one day and said, I need you to write me a check. I said, okay, for what? He said, you should write me a check. Here's the number. This is the number of the check, the amount. And I'm going to send you something in the mail. I said, all right, I'm down. So I read him this check.
That's pretty wild.
And this shows up in the mail. And
That
I'm like,
big?
Yeah. And I'm like, what the am I going to do with that? My kids are younger, obviously. My kids, now they're 11. My daughter's 7. My boys are 11 and 12. And this was a few years ago.
And so you guys know,
So
we'll take a picture of it, and we probably can't, but it's a Yakuza guy taking a girl. He's having sex with her. It's from behind you.
Right. And he, so I can't hang it in my house. And I can't hang it here. I have women coming in my office here. Women work here. It would be a little, this is kind of a hostile work environment, I guess. There's
Tarantulas,
guns,
a monkey with a gun.
Porn star over there in the corner. Remember her? Tracy Lords.
Do I
It's
ever?
Tracy Lords.
God bless
Might
her.
be the most legit
says-
office I've ever seen.
It says right when you walk in the door that Tyson's head.
Tyson's head.
And over there on the counter, you can't see it, but to the left is a saber-toothed tiger skull, a real saber-toothed tiger.
I was going to ask you if that was legit.
That's real, yeah.
That's real.
So the photographer Iraqi used to take pictures like this. This was his thing. And then his wife and his cat died, and he kind of freaked out. So now he only takes pictures of the sky because that's where heaven is, and that's where his wife and cat are, and that's where he wants to be.
Dang.
So this picture is worth $1.2 million.
What?
So I didn't know that. So I had this thing sitting in storage.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I had it sitting in storage. So I'm out in Japan, and the guy's name is Tim Jeffries in London, who I buy some of my art from, and he says, I heard you got the Yakuza Iraqi. He says, where'd you hang it? And I said, when I told him I have it in storage, he looked at me like I said I beat my children with a red hot poker every night before they go to bed. He's like, are you out of your mind? It's one of his best pieces. It's unbelievable.
It is amazing.
Isn't that a cool piece?
It is striking.
That's a great
How did
story.
he get? We don't know how he got a Yakuza guy to take his girl.
Yeah.
He probably just said, I want to snap some shots.
Maybe he
Right?
snuck it in. Maybe this guy's just at a party. Bam.
Oh no, he does all kinds. I have another Iraqi right here. I haven't even hung this, but you can see.
Oh, my God.
And that's actually Iraqi. That's him himself.
What a crazy, badass artist. What a bad motherfucker he is.
Wow, that's intense. But that's what he does. He does all kinds of Japanese,
Really incredible. What a difference. That's unbelievable.
And then these guitars, those are Flea's bass guitars. Flea from the Red Hot
sure
Chili
do.
Peppers.
Chili Peppers, yeah.
And those are spun by Damien Hirst, the artist.
Yep.
That other guitar over there is signed by all 3 of the Beastie Boys. I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan too.
So
And
you appreciate art. I know you don't read. I read you're like, I don't fucking read a goddamn thing. Don't send me a long text. I'm not going to read it, which cracked me up.
I won't read an email and I won't read a long text. If I get a long text, I literally cruise right through it.
Why?
That's why. And he's very good at writing big long texts. So I say, so when you write me those big long texts, I go, he needs to talk to me about something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, or I'll get a couple of words out of it, but I do not read. I do not like
Why?
to read.
I will abandon my
like
style, Dana.
I don't like to read. I want quick. I want
Yeah.
to know what's going on. Here we
You're
go.
visual.
That's it. Real quick.
But you love
break
art.
it down, and things like emails that I'll get. My secretary will come in and tell me what an email. This is what they want. This is what they want to do. I absolutely do not read.
Unbelievable. Well, you're an impressive guy, man. I consider it a privilege to talk to you, and in a lot of ways a milestone that we get to get somebody like you on
Thanks,
our
man.
podcast.
The Fireland Kids come
Well,
a
it's
long
cool.
way.
I'm serious. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what you guys do on World's Dumbest. And
Thank
I
you,
know
man.
it's funny because you guys laugh because it's like a this
We
crazy
just show up,
But
you know.
you know what? When I get home, I've been through the ringer.
Yep.
I've talked to everybody. I've done everything. I've been in all these meetings. I want brain dead TV.
Right.
I want people
For sure.
getting hit with sticks. I want people trying to jump over cars, and
You gotta come
and
to
I
my
want to hear what
stand-up.
you guys have to say about it.
We got to bring them to my stand-up. We got to get you. You like stand-up,
I
right?
love stand-up.
Oh, dude, you gotta come to my show.
Done. Are you ever in Vegas?
I will be in Vegas. I'm going to figure
Well,
it out.
I'll get your number
All right,
and
good.
text me next time you.
I would love
because
it.
I would love to go.
You get them a discount on
I'll
tickets?
get
or
you a
what are we talking
discount on
here?
tickets.
I'll buy
and
my
we'll go
tickets.
from there.
No.
I don't. Let me tell you what. I'm in the ticket business. I don't ask anybody for.
Yeah, right.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I pay for all my tickets.
You will have VIP treatment, my friend. You and whoever you want. And speaking of which, I'll be in I'll be at Wise Guys in Utah.
He's going to plug his
November
show
28th and 29th.
Wise Guys in Utah.
You know what? I've
Come
never
on,
been
man.
there. Salt Lake City.
All right.
You ever been out there?
Keep it clean.
Oh, I'll keep it real clean. I'll keep it real clean. I
Keep
can't
it
wait.
clean and sober.
I can't wait. Exactly. Exactly.
Special
You're Boston,
edition,
though.
Fire and the Kid, Dana White's office.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
No,
This
it's
has
my
been what a treat. What
No,
a
it's
treat.
fun. Thanks.
God, man, it's great. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. God, that was kind of anticlimactic. That was kind of anticlimactic. It's kind of like a down, like.
Hey, Piers Morgan, can
I'm
you
not
sing
singing.
this out?
I already sang a song. I'm not improvising another song.
I'm
Even
doing
though
Piers Morgan next week.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
What were you saying about Piers Morgan?
Because he's so serious.
You know what? Do you know what
He's
movie?
always funny.
You know
He's
what
so
movie
serious.
that I am? Do you know what movie that's from, Brendan? Of course not. I'm playing. We're playing celebrity with him. He goes, I don't know the guy, the German guy. He's a science guy. Freud. Freud. Yeah, I don't know what his name.
You talking about? You want to talk about game night at your house? Dana, don't go over Brian Callen's on game night.
It's bad.
His wife goes, let's play a game. You know, there's drinks,
Celebrity.
there's people over. She goes, write down any 5 celebrities you want, and then you got to act them out. And I'm like, all right,
It's a very
was there
boring game.
rules or anything? She goes, no, whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. I put down Obama.
Yeah.
I got up, I go, I'm black, President of the United States.
Yeah.
Obama, everyone's like, yeah.
I know. And you know, when I was
Stupidest
single,
game
my
I've ever
parties
played.
were a lot better.
Yeah, I bet. That was miserable. I
Can't
text
talk
you.
about it on
I
the
text
air.
you during your party.
I was a
Horrible
degenerate.
party.
Much better guy.
Anyways, long story short, don't go over his house for game night.
You know what movie it is?
I don't.
Dogs of Z-Town.
No, I've never seen it.
About the first skateboarders. The guy was kind of who invented skateboarding.
You
Invented
guys
California.
a little older than me. A little older than me.
If it
Haven't
doesn't
seen that.
concern Brendan, he zones out. You start talking about anything, you could be talking about. You can light yourself on fire. He'd be like, "Doesn't concern me." I'm going to send some texts. It's unbelievable.
Get out of
My
here.
job is to expand your horizons, and you just did. Thank you,
true.
sir.
All right, brother.
Thanks for
Thanks.
being
No,
so.
thanks. Thank
You're
you guys.
great. We're really, really a privilege.